What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Chart Request Live. My name's Patrick Dunawilla. I'm the editor of the Chart Report. Joining me today, we got Sam Gatlin. Sam, how are we doing today?
I'm good. Happy Turkey Week, everybody. One of my favorite
Happy
weeks
Turkey
of the
Week.
year.
Yeah, that's right. We got a shortened week, right?
That's right.
Holiday on Thursday, and is Friday a half day or?
I believe Wednesday is the half day,
Oh, okay.
but I could
Okay.
be wrong.
So a little bit of an abbreviated week here, but nonetheless, we're entering a pretty bullish season, specifically for small caps. And I think we have to start with small caps here today because if we close here today, where we are or higher, that would be the first closing all-time high for the Russell 2000 in 3 years. Now, this one peaked ahead of the other major indexes in November 2021, and it's been the third longest drawdown and the fourth deepest. I think it got to about 33% drawdown here in 2023 before we recovered it all this year. And it's been the only major index that hasn't broken out to all-time highs yet. So, it would be a very unusual bull market if we didn't have small caps participating, but now they are. And here we are entering a bullish time of year for small caps. I think you got a lot of things working. We've seen small caps outperform and just break out after the last three elections, and here they are doing it again. Small caps tend to outperform large caps from November until March. So I don't know, Sam, what do you think? I mean, what's the bear case for small caps?
The bear case is regional banks roll over here. Look at something like PSCF versus IWM. Regional banks are a very large component of the Russell 2000, and since the election, they have absolutely screamed higher. However, they are running into a shelf of former highs, so potentially this one could be digesting its gains here,
Yeah,
not
I see what you mean. I
far
mean, I
away
could
from
see
here.
a
And I think that
scenario.
would put a lot of pressure on the Russell 2000 at an index
Yeah,
level.
yeah, I could totally see a scenario, and we've seen so many other indexes do this thing where they reach there and then they build out like this little like correction for 3 months or 6 months or whatever it is. So you could totally see that here. I think that's definitely a scenario you have to be prepared for.
And it's
Uh,
not really bearish, right? It just it needs more time to develop, and like maybe it just means this bull market has more legs if these components haven't even broken out yet above the price cycle high.
right. I think biotech's another area of small caps that you want to watch for, right? I mean, kind of a vulnerable area. Um, it's I think either the first or second largest. Either way, banks and biotech, the two critical groups um, in the Russell 2000. And here, this one looked like it was breaking out. Looked like a textbook breakout after the election, and then couldn't have been an uglier week after. Nasty failed breakout, but found support here last week at the AV from the peak there. So we'll see if we can make another stand at that 104 level for biotech. But let's get right into the mailbag.
Let's do it. First up, we have Nick requesting GFOF, which is the Grayscale FinTech ETF. Says he owns a
Whoa.
position in the ETF rather than picking individual names or making my own basket, Straza style. The ETF should smooth out volatility and be easier to manage as one position. I totally agree. And let's look at the ingredients before we chart
Yeah, for sure.
GFOF. So this ETF holds a lot of Coinbase. Coinbase is the largest holding at about 9.7%. And then you have
Okay.
Robinhood, number two at 8.4%. And then you have Marathon, a Bitcoin miner, at number three at about 8%. That's how the top three rounds out. And you have 28 total holdings in here. So I think this is a great vehicle, and the chart looks very, very actionable here too.
Yeah, and I like all those stocks heading into the end of the year. I think those fit the theme, right? A lot of things like small Coinbase. Maybe it's not a small cap, but certainly kind of trades like one, and given the crypto tailwind. Don't hate it at all. What were some of the other big components in there you mentioned?
Sure, you have Coinbase, Robinhood, Block, PayPal.
Yeah.
You even
Yeah,
have that
Square-
Galaxy
Square chart
Digital.
looks great, and it
You
really
have the
hasn't
crypto hedge
hasn't
fund.
really gotten going yet. This one pretty simple. I mean, if it's above 27, that's your breakout level, and depending on how big of a leash you want to keep on it. Personally, I would probably cut it at 25.50. If it can't hold there, call it quits. You could go all the way down to 24 probably if you want to give it a little more room. But above 27 looks good to 38, 39 here, that 161.8 extension. And I used a weekly closing basis for that, so you could probably go 39, maybe even 40. Yeah.
Love it. I think this ETF just speaks to the broad strength that we're seeing out of all these components too.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Financials.
if you don't feel comfortable playing one of those small kind of riskier plays, this is kind of like, actually I just bought some ARK before this, and it's kind of the same thing. I mean, both are going to work. I mean, the components are very similar, a lot of overlap from just what you just rattled off there. And also setting up for a nice move here. So kind of the same thing. If this one's above like 56, 57, I like this. This is the AVWAP from the peak and also the 38.2 retracement.
Oh, I didn't realize it was that retracement level too.
Yeah, on a you got to use a fib-based log
Gotcha.
scale, but
Wow, it doesn't get much cleaner than that, does it?
yeah, and this doesn't look like much, but this is the 38.2 to the 61.8 is a trade I've been liking more lately because it doesn't look like much on a lot of these charts because they've just been crushed. But that's a 50% gain almost, so
And it'll usually happen fast too.
right. You might not be there for the appetizer or the dessert, but you're there for the main course, right?
Sure. That's all a man needs, right?
That's all man
Meat and
needs.
potatoes.
Right, meat and potatoes, that's it.
Well, thank you for bringing this to our attention, Nick. That was a great one. Let's
That-
move on.
Remind me of the symbol again, GFOF?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that's interesting. I haven't heard of that one.
Yeah, me either. I think it's a new issue. But next we have Mark's request for XBI. Inside of the XBI, he's looking at RVMD. It broke out and bounced off 54, and it has about 13% short interest. So he wants to be long above 56, targeting 80 to 120 bucks.
Yeah. So with XBI 104 is really the level you got to watch for. Looks like it's going to make another stab at it here. I think the fact that it failed once already, it kind of sets it up for a better chance of a success on the second retest here. Because yeah, as nasty as that decline was, it did find support pretty quickly.
And we're starting this week out with a nice gap.
Yeah, true.
There was some positive news for the biotech industry this weekend. President-elect Donald Trump has selected his picks for like CMS, CDC, FDA, all of those agencies, and the market seems to like what he picked. It wasn't controversial. Just...
That's the market likes that, right?
Yeah, it does.
and
It kind of like the election, like the market doesn't really care if it's a Democrat or Republican. They want it to be over.
Yeah,
It seems to
exactly.
be over now. So
And for those of you who don't know, Sam's actually very knowledgeable in this space. He grew up around the industry. His parents own a pharmacy or two. So when it comes to biotech, I trust your input, Sam.
thank you. Let's
but-
look at RVMD for Mark.
Yeah, absolutely.
Great chart.
And what's funny with this is like, so zooming out to the healthcare sector in general, you remember that nasty candle that coincided with the biotech sell-off too a couple weeks ago? That was all on that RFK news, right? And that was really just the narrative. Like this was just a classic retest. Over that weekend, you saw him eating a cheeseburger, and I think the next then you saw things rebound and retest. So, don't get too caught up in the narrative there. I think a lot of these things are just doing what technicals do, right? Just
No
retest.
one person can control this market. Like the
Absolutely.
president doesn't control the markets, the FDA commissioner doesn't control the biotech markets.
Right, right, absolutely. And they're not going to make this one easy for you. This is going to
No.
be, if this trade's ever going to work, it's going to be a tough one, and it's going to only reward those who really stuck around for it and held through the volatility. But this one is all right. Let's look at RVMD. RVMD, right?
Yeah, a leader in the space.
Is it? Yeah, I've seen this one pop up quite a few times. Ooh, Sam.
Pretty clean level there to trade against the prior cycle high. Love
Yeah.
that.
Now that I look at this one again, I remember this one very well.
Oh yeah.
Um, so
I also really like how this one has 13% short interest. And that can really spark a fresh leg higher
that's
out
right.
of this spacing pattern.
Yep. It's all coming back to me now, Sam. I remember having a position in this one now. So honestly, I think 55 is your level here. Looks like it already retested here. I would just get involved here and throw a stop at last week's low, around there. But as far as fibs go, or as targets go, yeah, Sam, I like
He
this
said he
one.
was targeting about 80 to 120. Does that line up with the fib?
82, yeah, it makes sense. Yeah, totally makes sense.
Cool. That's just the first objective.
What did you say short interest was? 12% or?
It's 13%.
Nice. I like this. I like this one a lot.
I'm curious what the
Might
days to
have to-
cover is. Let's see. You have, oh boy, 15 days to cover in this one. That's
Why don't
even
you
better than
walk
the-
people through what that means? Because you are the expert when it comes to days to cover.
So short interests are, it's just a percentage of the floating shares that are sold short. That's all that tells you. Now the days to cover is telling you if there is a short squeeze in this, how long could it last? How long would it take all of these short sellers to cover their positions? And at current volume levels, which could change, it might not be 15 exactly, but roughly it should take these short sellers 15 days to cover their position. That's
Wow.
3 weeks.
Wow. That should get you to 82.
That should get the job done, right?
Yeah. What do we
That's
got?
what I love about it, is it's just a catalyst to spark a fresh leg higher out of this pattern. Like this is already a pattern we love and we are interested in buying, and just the short interest is the cherry on top to get the party started.
Totally, yeah. I took a trade on Peloton recently, and that was kind of the catalyst, is the 22% short interest here.
Well, it started with an earnings reaction.
Yeah, right.
And then you got those short sellers offsides, and it just cascades. They have to keep covering and covering, and it takes time for that to happen. And
Totally, and
prices are
a lot of it is
higher.
kind of these lazy short sellers that have overstayed their welcome in a name like Peloton that was down 99%. It's like, what else are you what are you staying for the extra, and
Hogs get
now
slaughtered.
we're heading into a bullish time of year for small caps, and you're seeing that momentum behind them. I would not want to be a short seller. Would you, Sam?
No, not at all. Yeah,
Not
I think that's a great
necessary.
point, is that like bulls make money, bears make money, but hogs get slaughtered. Like, get the
Yeah,
hell out of this position. What are you waiting
Yeah.
for?
And a lot of funds have to be short, for purposes, for hedging purposes, or just that's their mandate. So if you have to be short certain names in the S&P or whatever, benchmark you're in, you're going to choose the crappy ones like this one. And then if they start going against you, you're not going to stick around for too long in them. So
For sure.
Anyway.
Let's move on to the YouTube chat. We have
Yeah.
a lot of people requesting tickers today. First,
what's going on, everyone?
we have Wavy McFly at the top of the chat.
Wavy.
What's new, Wavy? Wavy wants to look at SWX.
Got it. Anything for Wavy.
Yeah, so this is Southwest Gas, about $6 billion regulated gas utility stock. up 3% today. So seems to
Yeah.
it likes what Natty Gas is doing.
Okay, so it's an natty gas play.
Yes.
Yeah, looks like the breakout's on, but maybe buying a pullback to this 78 level, 78.50, or
Is
78.
that
Yeah,
one weird candle? Is that August 5th?
you betcha. I don't even have to
Wow.
check it, but yeah, well, August 6th. Yeah,
That's bizarre. I
yeah.
mean, that candle just sticks out like a sore thumb, doesn't it?
On a lot of charts, yeah. 87 if you're using that candle, but if you want to on a closing basis 84. I think that's probably a more solid target. Um,
Could happen pretty fast with the
short-term
way Natty
target.
Gas is moving.
Yeah, I was gonna say short-term target. I'm kind of inclined to shoot for the second target on this one, because when Natty Gas goes, it goes,
For
and
sure.
everything, all of its derivatives go along with it. So yeah, I kind of am tempted to go for that, the all-time high here of 92.
For
But
sure.
maybe half off here, raise your stop to break even, leave the
It
rest
just
back.
depends on like if you're using common or options.
Yeah, totally, totally. But moving in the right direction, Wavy.
For sure. I think part of this conversation is natural gas. Would you mind pulling up that chart? Because it
Great point.
looks really nice right now.
Yeah. So this is
Oh, boo,
UNG.
not the UNG.
You
Show
want
me
to
the
look at the
futures.
futures?
Yeah. We were
Oh,
just talking earlier about how bad UNG was. And
yeah, UNG is kind of a piece of crap.
yeah.
I don't trade natty gas too often anymore. I like sleeping at night, so
Sure, but you have vehicles like this SWX
totally, yeah.
trading based on this. So I think it matters a lot, especially for Wavy if he's interested in this grid.
Absolutely, yeah. I like this. I like this setup a lot. It's got that little head and shoulders here.
A little bit messy of a head and shoulders, but it's
That's
a
all
very
right. I
bullish
don't
reversal
need
pattern
super clean.
nonetheless.
I don't need them super clean.
Right.
I think, the integrity of the pattern is kind of the general structure of the pattern is kind of more important.
Exactly.
And you call this head and shoulders, bottom, whatever base, whatever you want to call it. Point is that's bullish for natty gas if it gets over that 350 level.
And like we've been charting stocks that look like this a lot recently.
Yeah,
Bearish to bullish reversal pattern, buy the breakout, target the former all-time highs. So isn't that the move here with natural gas? If you're above this pivot high from late last year, the path of least resistance is much, much higher. It's higher towards about $10.
yeah. I'm not sure I'd shoot all the way there, but yeah, even five makes
Yeah,
sense.
even 5 is a great move.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
like it a lot. Anything else to say on this one?
Yeah.
Cool. Let's move on to quantum computing stocks. Some of the hottest stocks in the market right now. RGTI. Elijah is long above 320. It's having a big day, only $500 million in market cap. The stock also has warrants. Ticker is RGTIW, but not sure if that makes sense given the market cap. And you're probably right. Yeah, you probably will get enough juice with the common here.
Yeah, exactly. This is a super clean one. I think you only want to be long if it breaks above this 330 level. I mean, look how clean that is. It was support down here. It was resistance here. It is the golden ratio retracement of the major decline here. If it's above that 330 level, I think you're playing it back to where it's SPAC'd or IPO'd or whatever the heck that was.
And I think you could draw a trend line too from that July peak to that early 2024 peak, and then we just gapped above that trend line resistance.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I see what you're saying. Kind of like, yeah, totally.
Big way to start the week. How much is it up today?
That's a good question. 56%. Holy smokes.
Not bad.
Yeah, I'd be looking for 950 for this one.
Love it. This is a
If it
great
gets, I,
setup.
I would need to see it clear. I wouldn't buy this here, would you?
No, no, no. I think you definitely want to close above that 3.25 level,
Yeah,
especially given the risk to the downside.
right,
Like
right.
we could very easily go back and test, I don't know, $2, a buck 50, and like
Yeah,
the structural uptrend would still be in place.
right.
What happened?
If you want to be a little more aggressive, I think you have to at least see it close above 275 today, to really get bullish on this in the short term, because that would be kind of like a closing basis, clearing this high, this July 2023 high.
Yeah, that could be a good pivot to play against.
Yeah, but definitely fishing in the right pond. Wait, this I was still on nat gas in my mind. You said quantum computing. Wait,
Yeah.
you said quantum computing's hot. What do you fill me in?
So there's not a lot of vehicles out there for this, but we're looking at one of the best right here. And we can also look at something like IonQ, which is one of the largest in the industry. It comes in at about $6.5 billion today,
Yeah, Tim,
still
this one's been
sporting
showing up
a
on the buzz.
21.5% short interest. So,
This one's been showing up on the buzz all year.
well, there's a good reason for that, Patrick. Like, how much has this rallied this year from that low?
Jeez. Uh, from $3 to 30.
So hot.
It's shown there. Wow.
And I think this is a big theme too right now. Like
Holy
the
smoke.
market is rotating out of the prior AI leaders. Stocks like Nvidia
Yeah.
have really been struggling recently.
Dude,
But then you
yeah.
look at stocks like Palantir,
And Tim,
IonQ.
doesn't it fit with our small cap thesis right?
Exactly.
And ooh, this is interesting.
This is very interesting. Yep.
Uh,
And Dan
what
Ives
we were
agrees
just
with
looking
me
at?
too. I think he came out yesterday with a big report and caught the market's attention, and these software stocks are popping on some of his quotes. You know, he's one of the most influential analysts in the space,
Who?
Dan Ives. So when he
Oh,
comes
okay.
out with an aggressively bullish price target hike on software stocks like Palantir, it catches people's attention, and you can see it in
Yeah.
RGTI up 60% today.
Okay, yeah, yeah. And this is the equal weight software, and software really struggled in the first half of the year while semis kind of really put the tech sector on their back. In fact, I think semis briefly surpassed software as the largest industry group in the S&P, but then I think software is back on top. And again, equal weight software just starting to break out. But you look at the IGV, which is non-equal weight, that's already been working.
But look at this reaction out of the space. Like we've
Yeah, totally,
seen this pattern. It was very well advertised by the market. And once we put the finishing touches on it, it has just been straight up.
Right. Yeah. RGTI, huh?
Yeah, I like it.
Who brought that one for us?
My brother Elijah did.
Hey, Elijah.
Shout out, Elijah.
Good
Let's
luck.
move on to Mark Zerby wanting to look at FTI. So
FT.
FTI is an oil and gas equipment and services stock. It has about $13.4 billion in market cap.
Oil services, you say, huh?
Yeah,
I'm sensing
it
a
seems to
theme.
be a leader in the industry.
Yeah. I really like oil stocks, Sam. I know you and I talked about it. You had that great chart of the day last week, showing the energy sector testing all-time highs out of nowhere. I mean, it's really not out of nowhere, but it seems like it's out of nowhere because energy's lagged all year, and then all of a sudden, like I said, out of nowhere, just working, and here we're talking about all-time highs for the first time in a decade. It's the only sector other than real estate that hasn't broken out to all-time highs this cycle, but at least real estate broke out last cycle. Energy hasn't. Energy has not seen an all-time high since 2014. But anyway,
Right, and you have the narrative of President-elect Donald Trump with his drill baby drill. You know,
right.
like at face value, you'd expect energy stocks to go down,
Yeah.
but they've gone straight up since then.
I like the way you're thinking. You're saying price action isn't following the narrative. That's the real narrative, right?
Exactly.
I like that. I like how you're thinking there. I think that's a great point. And also the fact that crude oil is just starting to rally from the lower bounds of its range there. It refused to break the lower bounds of the range, and crude oil hasn't even come along for the ride yet. If crude oil starts perking up, energy stocks are really going to start, you're really going to start noticing energy stocks more.
Without a doubt, Patrick. I think let's put a target on this one first, but I'd also like to look at like XLE SPY.
Yeah, let's do it. Actually, I was looking at that one. We'll get to it in a second. But 35, if it's above 30, 35, very clean trade on this one. It's already working, might not come back and let the latecomers on here. But man, what a nice one, huh?
It's a
And
beast.
that 35 coincides with this whole mess over here.
This one's gone from $3 to $30 in 4 years.
Insane. What did you want to look at?
I wanted to look at XLE SPY.
Yeah.
Look at the weekly RSI. Didn't get anywhere close to getting oversold.
Yeah, let's.
This just looks like a textbook continuation pattern to me. And given the context of the rally we had off the COVID lows, I think there's a lot of upside here for this sector.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, looks like it's getting rejected here a little bit, but
For sure,
I'd
but
say-
this could end up being a failed breakdown.
yeah, for sure.
Has all the ingredients.
Yeah, absolutely. Just makes sense too. And I'm not sure if I go to Koyfin, I don't think you guys can see my screen, but go to Koyfin, go to like the sector performance, and you pull it out to like a 3-year chart, and you'll see energy is far and away the leader in the post-COVID era. I think that goes unnoticed a lot. I know, Sam, you know that because you look at these charts every day, but it's easy to forget because tech led so dramatically during the 2022 bear market. I mean, it was up like 50% that year while all other sectors were down. So it led so dramatically while it's had this like defensive nature, basically.
It has. It's a value sector right now.
And why is that? Because every time it's working, it's because inflation is also like crude oil is working. So inflation kind of steps back into the picture, and inflation is kind of the big boogeyman of the market right now. So, and the two, that's why they're kind of trading inverse.
For sure, and it hasn't participated for a long time. Look at this relative trend. It's been nothing for years.
Yeah.
And you zoom out on something like the XLE, and it's trying to resolve a huge base. You look at the rest of the sectors in the market, a lot of sectors have already resolved this base, reclaimed that prior cycle high. They're already hitting their first Fibonacci extension levels in some cases, but energy still hasn't even left the station. So that is an interesting part of it as well.
It's not the cleanest ascending triangle, but again, the integrity of the pattern, the psychology of the pattern is there. And what I'm talking about is why is an ascending triangle bullish is because you have a horizontal resistance level like this, and every time it gets rejected, it's creating higher lows, right? So it's almost like buyers are getting more aggressive on every rejection. And that's what you saw here too with this, every time it kind of obeyed that rising trend line there. And here we are just all of a sudden back at those 2014 highs. I think energy's setting up for a big year, Sam.
And the essence of this pattern too is it's a volatility compression.
Yep.
We've had volatility non-existent in this sector for years now. So if we can finally resolve this pattern, it's not only new all-time highs, but you have that expansion and volatility that's just coiled up and ready to unload.
No, very well said. But yeah, with and who's overweight energy right now? Nobody. This isn't a
Nobody.
crowded trade. This, I think it makes a lot of sense to look for exposure to energy in the next for next year. But
For
it might go
sure.
sooner than that, right?
Yeah. Let's move on in the chat, Patrick. Robert is wanting thoughts on Uber or VRT. Also
Yeah.
says Happy Thanksgiving. Happy
Happy
Thanksgiving to you,
Thanksgiving.
Robert.
Happy Thanksgiving, Robert.
He says you helped him out with snow last week.
Oh, that's fantastic. Yeah, well, we can look at that one in a second. Let it snow, baby. Let it snow. So Uber here, you can see it reached that price target. And that's a big chunky price target. That's like a $6, $7 price target. But what I did is I used the fib on an intraday high-low basis and then on a closing basis as well. And it gives you a little range, which is good because if you had been leaning on that one, you wouldn't have gotten out. But got rejected at a logical level. But here, again, obeying this kind of trend line, not perfect. Oh well. If you're looking for trend lines to touch perfectly, then you're lost anyway.
Yeah.
But,
What I
this
want to
is
see is
worth
zoom
higher.
in on this and drop a WAP from that candle where it hit that target and reversed. So I think
Yeah.
that's what you really want to look for. Like we know the context
Totally.
this
That's a
chart
yeah,
is
that's
higher, but like it's the timing that we need to
an
nail.
excellent point. Yeah, and again, this falls under that mega cap tech umbrella, so we shouldn't expect this one to be super super strong. I mean,
Or is
I
it
would-
more of
I
an
wouldn't call it a
industrial
mega cap
or a
tech.
transport?
probably is, but yeah, I mean, shoot.
Like transports are just now breaking out.
Yeah, shoot.
Uber like that.
I don't hate this one. I think this could totally work actually. I think you're totally right to be looking at this VWAP for a way to get into it again. Clearing that around 75, nice round psychological level. Then you're looking back towards this level. But I don't think maybe you take some profits there, but I think really you're playing this one towards the next target. And this has been a pretty nice long consolidation here. You got the false breakout, false breakdown here. I think you're looking towards the hundreds for the next target around 125.
Totally agree. And you have that $100 roll.
Yep, yeah.
Love it.
You want to talk about that? What that
Oh,
is?
it's just a psychological level when you reach a big round number like 100, 200, 300 for the first time. The stock or the commodity or what have you, it tends to continue trending higher, and it
Yeah, and
goes on to hit several. Like if it's 100, maybe it'll hit 105 to 115.
Sam, I think the best example we have of this is Bitcoin right now. And I think
Yeah,
so I actually lightened up on Bitcoin over the weekend. I woke up and I saw that it had reached, my broker showed that it reached 100K, but my orders at 99.5 weren't getting filled.
I think
So-
the futures are the ones that hit 100, but the cash did not.
Right, and so it freaked me out a little bit, and I was planning to lighten up at that level, obviously, because I had orders in, and so I just, you want to get out when you can, not when you have to in a situation like that. So I lightened up a little bit, but the idea is though, if it does break 100, you're not just going to get 100, like it's going to overshoot that 100 a little bit. So. And then that's kind of goes along with that $100 roll, the momentum that's going to go along with it when that wall finally does break. It could be 3 months from now, it could be tomorrow, who knows? But to go along with your point, I think you don't just get 100 and then it just calls it quits. Usually, it would once that threshold does finally break, I would expect it to carry through.
For sure. And you look at a lot more Twitter than I do. But just in my own feed, I've
Yeah.
seen a ton of people talking about this 100,000 level.
Yeah.
Am I overthinking it? Like,
No,
should
no,
I
not
be
at all.
trying to fade these people? Like,
No,
this
and
is pretty
it's a
strong,
natural
so it's-
Fibonacci level. It makes all the sense in the world for this to pause here. Okay, as easy as it would be to just sail right, like as unrealistic as it would be to just sail right through. I think it would be equally as unrealistic to think that the cycle just ends here. I think it'll frustrate people. You know, some people will panic sell, kind of like what I did, kind of. But
But it is also Thanksgiving week. You know, it's a lighter volume week. We could
totally.
see some shenanigans. We could see a wick down to 80,000 or something.
Right, right. And then when when you tell your Uncle Joe to buy it, and they get back from Thanksgiving break, and this thing might be ready for 100K again. Who knows? No, I'm partly joking, but that was an example of that $100 roll. What else you want to look at here?
Yes, let's look at Rocket. We were talking about fintechy stuff like Robinhood and Square and
Now
PayPal.
this one doesn't fit with the space theme, even though the name might be confusing, right?
Yes, it's this one has been a leader in the financials. Boy, has it taken it on the chin recently.
Yeah, for
What's going
sure.
on here? Is this one
Yeah.
over?
I think what you're looking for here in the next few days is it really needs to reclaim that horizontal level I just drew, because that would be like an island, a bullish island reversal. You're actually kind of already seeing it, but it just hasn't confirmed by closing above this yet. But the fact that it gapped and left this mess in the dust here, that's already a bullish island reversal. You just want to see confirmation by closing above this 15 level. But other than that, if you can reclaim 15, I think then you're looking back towards the 20s for your target. Let me just zoom out more.
And the short interest is noteworthy on this one as well. You have a little bit over 14% and 6 days to cover. So, like this pattern you're talking about, the failed breakdown, which is just inherently a squeezy pattern mixed with actual short interest, I think this one's setting up for a pretty good move.
Yeah. Yeah, even if you want to be conservative and just play it to like 17 and a half, that's still a nice rally. I just say that because you got this mess from when it went public.
I think the VWAP anchored to the IPO, does that not come in around the current levels?
Check it out.
I'm pretty sure it does. And that could be an interesting level to trade against.
Okay.
That was what we ran into as resistance.
Let's check out this mess. Okay. Yeah.
So you could buy it on a recapture of those VWAPs potentially,
Yeah.
and then you're playing it for a bigger move back towards those former highs instead of just
Yeah, I mean, I really think
short-term squeezer.
if it reclaims this, I think you have a really low probability of it backtracking immediately. I think if it has the strength to do that, then that's telling you something. So I think at that point, I'd give a little less weight to these VWAPs. But yeah, what did you say short interest was?
It's 14%.
Oh,
6 days to cover. More than a
Okay.
week to cover.
oh, there you go. Yeah. Not be fun to be short this one, huh?
No, this one can move.
So let's move on. We got any more, or do you want to leave it here for today?
I think we should wrap it on this one. This is a great
Yeah.
chart.
Well, Sam, what caught your eye from this one?
This one is so actionable right here, right now.
This is your one, huh?
Yeah, there was a lot of great charts today, but the short squeeze, I'm a sucker for the short squeeze. So I think the RGTI that Elijah brought up earlier was another good one.
Yep. And I also liked your eye on Q. I think that might
Yeah.
be my favorite of all.
Yeah.
That Ion Q really just looks like it's struggling a bit here, but it did break out. So is this a retest, Sam? What do you think?
I think so, yeah. I think this is the leader of the quantum computing stocks. So if you're bullish on those, I think this is your vehicle. And you have a perfectly clean and actionable level right there at $30.
Where are you wrong?
I think you're wrong on a close below that prior cycle high.
Okay.
I would keep it tight.
So if it closed here, maybe maybe don't
Yeah,
touch.
yeah, I would keep
But
it
if you get
tight.
a little bounce, close above 31.
You only want this one on the breakout.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. For sure. And what did you say short interest was high on this or no?
It
Oh,
has been in the past. It is still, it's 21%.
oh, oh,
Yeah, there's a lot of volume in this though, so the days to cover isn't too egregious. It's about 2 days.
there you have it. There you have it, people. Well, thank you guys so much for watching. If we didn't get to your idea, be sure to email us at questions@stockmarketmedia.com. And I, myself, or Alfonso will get to it on Thursday, right? Thursday at 1 p.m.
Thursday is Turkey Day,
Oh,
so
that's right.
no.
That's right. We won't be there. We will be stuffing our faces. So we'll get to it again next Monday, probably. But enjoy your Thanksgiving and thank you so much for watching, Sam.
Thank you, everybody. Have a great week.